going on, Jerome's? So, yes, the Minnesota Vikings passing game is going to be its hallmark going forward with maybe Kirk Cousins or maybe quarterback of the future with Justin freaking Jefferson. Hopefully, Hawkinson once he heals up, as well as Jordan freaking Addison. But running the ball is paramount, and it's so weird. So we sort of criticized Zimmer towards the end when he was, too conservative, want to run the football, let's throw the football. And now that we're throwing the football, let's go back and run the football. It's almost like we as fans can never be satisfied. Strange, man. But you look at the Niners with McCaffrey, you look at the Chiefs with Pacheco. Running the ball is important, especially in big-time football games. And the Vikings in 2023, running game was not there. Now, before we get the comments, you got to fix the offensive line before you fix the running back position. Right. Fully understand that. Fully understand that. Don't get me wrong. I would like to put Bradbury on a midnight train to Georgia. Wait, no. That doesn't mean anything else, does it? But either way, I would like to cut or trade Garrett Bradbury, likely just cut because you can't trade him. So all that stuff. Fully understand, right? But let's not act like the running backs were great last year. And no, the answer was not, hey, just hang on to Dalvin Cook because he was ass, thank you, last year for the Jets. And also he was kind of ass for the Ravens, -1 carry. But the Vikings 2023 running game, 1,319 running back rushing yards. So we had to parse this out because, of course, we had Josh Dobbs mania. Fluffs up the numbers a little bit, but 1,319 running back rushing yards, last in the NFL. 4 running back rushing touchdowns, 0 goose egg, D'Angelo Russell by Alexander Madison, by the way, last in the NFL. 4.0 running back rush yards per carry, 29th in the league, and 2.73. All right, so this is what proves that it wasn't all the offensive line. 2.73 running back yards per carry after contact, which was also last in the NFL. So that's not. It's not good, right? So it was a hand and glove thing. The offensive line wasn't blocking well in the running game. The running backs weren't getting yardage. The scheme wasn't great. Kevin O'Connell wasn't calling a great game, as well as, since the Vikings were on Dobbs and Mullins and especially Jaron Hall, defenses were creeping up at the line of scrimmage, just sort of daring you to throw the football. Well, maybe not Mullins. But the running game suffered a little bit of a perfect storm last year. It just was not good. Enter Derrick friggin' Henry, right? And now the Vikings in the draft, yes, can certainly should peek at some running backs. I love me some Dylan Love, love me some Audric Esteem, I love me some Rashawn Johnson, lots of things. There's lots of options at running back. Maybe some Blake Corum a little bit later on. Sure. Why the hell not? But there isn't like the first, maybe not even second round guy this year, full on talisman. It's like, hey, get him and we're good to go. But in free agency, Derrick Henry, Saquon, Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs are our guy, just out there chilling. Maybe some Devin Singletary, sure. But I'm kind of in on Derrick Henry, man. And for a couple of reasons. Even though Derrick Henry is the oldest of the main free agent running backs. He's 30, just turned 30 in January. But, I mean, he can still do it. Right, so 6'3", 247. Everyone knows the story. Bama, Heisman, national title, all that stuff. Second-round pick in 2016 by the Tennessee Titans. 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time rushing champ in 2019, 2020. 2-time All-Pro, NFL Offensive Player of the Year in 2020, as well as MVP finalist, and also tied for the NFL record for 200 most 200-yard career rushing games with 6. Also, he probably has the most 6-yard career rushing games of 200. Actually, yeah, he's only played 119 career games. It's kind of crazy, man. But so the whole thing about power running backs is that they generally fall off a cliff. And when it goes fast. Like my favorite anecdote is Sean Alexander went from MVP of the league to out in 24 games. All right. So when it goes fast with running backs. But Henry was still really good last year. And the Titans offense had a lot of issues. Quarterback play was bad. Offensive line play was bad. Henry put in his career low. Well, not career low. Low in the last 7 years. Yards per carry at 4.2. But he still put up 1,167 yards on the ground, 12 touchdowns, and a 90.2 PFF grade. So it wasn't necessarily that Henry was horrible. I think it was just more around him was just not good. And he still is only 1 year removed from a 1,500-yard season. And he doesn't add much in the receiving game, sure, although he did have his best pass blocking season graded out at PFF in the last 5 years last season. But you know what Derrick Henry is. And Pro Football Focus, speaking of, linked Derrick Henry up to the Ravens and also the Vikings, blah, blah, blah. So Derrick Henry, number 31 free agent for them, blah, 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 Vikings. Minnesota's rushing attack was one of the least efficient across the NFL this past season, and they may also be looking to bring along a young quarterback, whether or not they keep Kirk Cousins in the fold. This front office may not be viewed as one very likely to pay top dollar to the running back position because of Kwesi and analytics, but hey, Kwesi pays attention to PFF, so maybe they're in, especially after they sharply moved on from Dalvin Cook before the 2023 season. Did you see Dalvin Cook with the Jets? Just saying. But maybe there's enough of a buy low opportunity here on Henry. And we don't have the graphic, but SpotRag estimated his compensation at about $10 million per year. And hell, PFF estimates his compensation at 2 years, $10 million average, so $20 million total, $13 million guaranteed. I feel like that's relatively fair. And say the market's not there. Say the other teams want to go fish in the draft for running backs, or they want to spend up on Saquon or Josh Jacobs because they're slightly younger. I mean, Derrick Henry for $8-9 million bucks here. It always comes back to we spent $13 million on Marcus Davenport for 7 tackles. So that's all I'm saying. But why sign Derrick Henry? So he is older. Yes, but he's not a speed back, and speed is the first thing that goes when running backs get older. That's why guys like Austin Eckler really fell off a cliff. That's why guys like Chris Johnson, CJ2K just really. But I mean, you always have a puncher's chance with a power running back, and Henry still strong, still great in short yardage, still has that power, still has that stiff arm, just getting fools out of the way, man. He still has that. And his fall off has not been as steep as other running backs. We talked about Shaun Alexander earlier, which, beyond just being, a dominant power running back who also went to Alabama, like Derrick Henry is still a freaking freight train, man. 7th in the NFL last year at 3.32 yards per carry after contact. Again, contrast that to the Vikings 2.73. So Derrick Henry is getting more, 60% of a yard more per carry after contact. That should say contact. Really good at spelling nowadays. Also, the Vikings, I feel like they just didn't have that north-south element on offense last year. Like Madison is more of a jack of all trades. He's not a true power back. He's sort of like an everything runner. Cam Akers more of an outside zone guy. Ty Chandler, sort of a joystick jack of all trades, change of pace, speed running back. And they didn't give the ball to King Kene or CJ Ham that much. But adding Derrick Henry there, where adios mio, I will quit this team if we find ourselves 3rd and 4th and short again, and we do the tush push with Brandon Powell. That's it. No, Derrick Henry, Mariano Rivera, enter Sandman. You know what's coming. Go ahead and try to stop it. Nah. Go ahead. Also, I feel like the Derrick Henry, Ty Chandler running back room would be pretty good. And also sprinkle in some Madison in there as well. Or hell, cut Madison and put that money towards Derrick Henry. I don't really care. Also, leadership, locker room guy, very highly regarded with the Titans. Mike Vrabel thinks the world of him. And his emotional goodbye to the Titans, where he named basically every single person with the organization, not just the players, not just the coaches, but the equipment guys, the janitors, the ticket takers. Like he's beloved in Tennessee. That's the caliber of person that Derrick Henry is, and I think he certainly would fit the culture here with the Vikings. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. But your thoughts are thoughts. The Vikings need to sign Derrick Henry. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.